Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Dr. Camille White. I'm the CEO of Inspire to Evolve Holistic Executive Coaching Services. I wanted to share a presentation that I have successfully done for various groups, and it was very impactful. So I was thinking that someone else out there could use this information. The topic is the hidden job market. It's a master class and it shows you how to navigate the career landscape using soft skills. I hope you'll enjoy the presentation. So about me, I'm an ex-physician, I'm an ex-government worker, and then I became a big tech executive. So my training is as a doctor of medicine. I spent a lot of time in the clinics where patients would come in and they would be very ill, different diseases, some of them autoimmune, some of them just picked up from the work life. And I noticed that across different sectors, whether I was in traditional healthcare as a physician, working for the government, or in corporate, I saw the same thing. And it came to be known as job-related stress and disease. So when I noticed this, I started thinking, what can I do to help? And so I started my coaching consultancy, and it's born out of a passion to address healthcare, mental health, our work life, and our life from a holistic perspective, right? So, thinking about the leadership on the job, wellness habits that we have, mindset, self care, self love, how does all of that contribute to our careers and our way of life? And that's what this work is about. So, as a coach, I inspire, motivate, and challenge people to navigate their careers, have less stress, and better health outcomes. And when you navigate your career and you align your purpose with your passion, it shows and it actually enhances your life. So the agenda for this presentation, first we'll talk about the job campaign. If you're looking for a job, please know that it's bigger than just applying on a portal. It is actually a campaign. There are different steps that you need to be aware of so that you can put your very best effort forward. We'll discuss the typical job search. Then we'll discuss levels of networking. We have to network. Everyone needs people that are supporting them. Everyone needs to be in a circle of folks that are discussing different opportunities. Everyone needs to be in a group of people that you can learn from so that you can level up. And not only are you learning from them, you're sharing information, there is a mutual exchange. We'll then talk about fractional work because you can work at a position not full time, but just a few hours each week, have one, two, or three of these, come up with your own pricing. And this could essentially take the place of your earned salary. Next, we'll talk about do-it-yourself reverse recruiting. So when you're talking with a recruiter, not just focusing on the position that they're talking to you about, but also other positions that that recruiter might know something about. Then we'll dig into venture capital as well as startups. So money to start businesses and what does that look like and what's the structure behind that. And then last but not least, mindset and energy. Mindset and energy is the foundation of your life. It's how you look at things, it's how you receive things, and it's part of resilience. So it's very important. So let's jump into the job campaign. Let's see. So it's great to have a degree. Oh, let's go back up to the other slide. It's great to have a degree, but soft skills are needed to navigate your career. I have 4 college degrees, and the information that I learned, I love it. But as I moved up the corporate ladder, especially now that artificial intelligence is in play, I find that you have to have communication skills, you have to know about building relationships, you have to have emotional intelligence, be able to read the room, You have to be mindful of strategy, people management, as well as operations. It's almost like you have to be a fully functioning franchise. It's not just task oriented, and tasks will be replaced by robotics and artificial intelligence. But we still need people who are thinking through the processes. We still need people with expertise in strategy. So the main goal is to envision your lifestyle. What kind of life do you want to have? And how does that career fit into that life? And once you have that vision, once you have that picture of that, you can navigate your career with that end in mind. And like I say, align your purpose with your passion. So you start with the vision of the end goal, then you're looking at your skill set and determining your industry fit. Then, how do you increase your visibility in the market, in the space where you want to be? So that's your marketing positioning. Then your value proposition. What value do you bring to the table? Why would people want you to be a part of their team? Why would people want to do business with you? And part of that is constructing a brag book that holds your accomplishments. You have this brag book and you can refer to it. It's handy. You can refer to it and talk about the projects that you've been on, the methodologies you've brought into place, the clients that you've managed, the successes that you've had, the innovations that you've brought forward. We'll also um, stress the importance of networking and the hidden job market. So when you're in this circle of people that are sharing information, they tell you about different opportunities that are coming about before they're even listed in the portal. So once you get all of this in place, you can work the plan to get to your dream job and achieve success. So this job campaign is an overview of what I offer in my services as part of Inspire to Evolve Executive Holistic Executive Coaching Services. So one of the things that you have to do is you have to dream big. As many people know, we as human beings are actually very innovative technology, and our thoughts can become things. So when we dream big, we're thinking about the future, our future selves. And I like this Time magazine cover of Jay-Z because in some of his interviews, he's like, how? How is it that I'm going to be this rich, successful person? I'm here in the Marcy Projects. How is that going to happen? So I want you to dare to think about what you would look like on the cover of Time magazine in perhaps 5 years. What is it that you would have accomplished? And then when you think about it, being on this cover of Time magazine, what's stopping you? What's stopping you from actually getting there? He said, he's in Marcy Project, he has limited resources. But once he started thinking through, the opportunities came. He didn't realize that there will be opportunities, but they did present themselves as they will present for you. And you have to be aware that they are opportunities so you can execute on them. Another part of this is saying, what is your North Star? What is it that you stand for? What is it that you're driving towards? And then even think about what your career spanning achievements are. If you've been in the workforce for some time, or even if you're a new college graduate, what is the biggest thing that you've done, not isolated just to one role, but connecting the dots from various roles? What is your truth? What is your career spanning achievement? And an example of that is for me, I'm a physician. I pivoted into the technology space. I have achieved or provided access to care for over 9 million people using digital technology resources. 9 million people. When I looked at the companies that I worked at, the technologies that I worked with, and the people that I came into contact with through those companies, it tallied up to 9 million people. Oh my gosh, that's a huge number. And I'm sure you're doing something big on a large scale, but you're underestimating and undervaluing your achievement. So Take some time, review this slide, think about what your skills are, your skill set, places that you've worked at, think about their customer base and run the numbers, how you contributed to the success of that company. So when you're thinking big, you need to be savvy. You need to think of yourself as a company. You're the CEO of that company. You're actually a brand. So how are you presenting yourself? And when you're presenting yourself on the job search, think of it as a campaign. You're not just applying for one job, you're campaigning on behalf of yourself, which is a company. Also, understand that your network is your intellectual property. These are functionalities and pieces that belong to you. It's your intellectual property. Things that you've created, things that you've discovered, that's your intellectual property as well. But one of the most important things is that you have to have a money mindset. If you are a brand and you are a business, then you need to be profitable, right? You have to have revenue. So you have to have a money mindset, know your worth, be able to ask for your value. That money can be used to support your family, your community, and money can be used to do great things. When good people have money, they do good things. So don't feel guilty for making a lot of money. Let's be clear, the job search is a money conversation. So no imposter syndrome. There's just no place for it. So let's talk about navigating the typical job search process. So the typical process is 4 to 6 months or longer. I've heard people say that it has taken them, a year to find a job, especially in these tough economic times, right? So the process is normally you apply for the job, there's a job description, it's created, it's in the portal. You search numerous job boards, your updates, you have a certain amount of time devoted to searching, you apply. And thousands of people are applying for positions and they can be stuck in this bottleneck, right? If you're lucky, the recruiter contacts you for an initial screen. But what can also happen is that there may be miscommunication between the recruiter and the hiring manager. So it takes a certain amount of time for him to even schedule the call. When he does schedule it, there's a follow-up. The scheduling can be a time constraint if you can't match your schedule with the hiring manager's schedule. But if you're successful, then you go on to the loop interviews. There'll be a panel discussion of anywhere from 3 to 7 people, and it may include a case study or other presentation. So, as mentioned previously, one of the most challenging things, again, for the loop interviews, the panel discussions, is aligning the schedules for numerous people to be on that interviewing panel. That can be so frustrating. But if you're successful and you pass the loop interview, finally you get this job interview. You land the job, you get this job offer where you've gone through each phase of the interview process and you've successfully navigated what the responsibilities of the position are and what the salary and your benefits, what they're going to be for the whole process of landing the job. So there's another way to do this, and I can say personally, some of the biggest jobs that I've gotten have been bypassing the job portal. So navigating the typical job search process. Strategic intention is to bypass that job search portal, and it'll be a bypass or a back channel with the recruiter, right? This can be done through networking sessions and informational interviews. And I've used LinkedIn. Not sure what platform you would want to use, but there are lots of professionals on LinkedIn. Use that to connect with people and request a 15 to 30-minute coffee chat or informational meeting. Some people have stranger danger. They're not comfortable reaching out to people to request a meeting, but these people were in your shoes at some point in their career and they reached out to people and you should feel comfortable doing the same. We're all human beings. We should be wanting to help each other. If someone's mean to you for reaching out, then they're not your people. I would also say focus on quality networking. You want to network with people and groups that have a shared common point of interest. So your community groups, industry focus, career interests, cultural connection, personal passion, alumni groups, things like that. It could even be people that belong to the same parent teachers association. Our kids play together. We're in the same dog walking groups. Places where you have that connection and you feel comfortable having a conversation. So now during the job search campaign, you should be reaching out to 10 people per week. You're connecting with them, you're following them, you're making comments on their posts, you're building relationships. Once you connect with them, wait at least 2 days to ask for an informational coffee chat. I would aim for 5 informationals per week. So you're reaching out to 10 people per week, but you're having 5 informationals. You can use LinkedIn or hunter.io. Hunter.io is really good for finding people's email addresses. So you're thinking about the stranger danger, but you're taking the next step and you've decided to request the coffee chat. What will you talk about? Be sure to introduce yourself using a brief marketing pitch. Can you tell me about your path to the company? So you've introduced yourself with this marketing pitch. Now you're asking them questions. Can you tell me about your path to the company? What advice would you have for someone trying to get into the company or trying to get this role? Based on the very little bit that you know about me, where do you think I might make an impact at your company? Do you know anyone on the team that you're interested in working where who you could chat with? Are there any Slack groups or newsletters that they can recommend? And then tell them I'm super excited to work at X, Y, and Z company, but I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. Therefore, I'm also considering X, Y, and Z handful of companies. What do you think about this list? They might even know people who work at the other companies. And then ask, are there any other companies that you would suggest? Because sometimes people say, yes, I know about X, Y, and Z company. I heard they're launching this initiative, and you've gotten some good information. After those conversations, say, is there anything I can help you with? They were nice enough to get on the phone with you, take time out of their schedule. You don't always want to be a taker, you want to be a giver. And then after the conversation, you can send a thank you note for the meeting. So let's talk about the levels of networking. I've previously mentioned that networking, getting to meet new people is very important, but there are levels to it. So acquaintances, those are just casual connections, weak interactions, but friendly. This could be the mailman, right? You see him on a daily basis. Hey, how are you? This could be someone at work that you just pass in the hallway. You're being cordial. Hello. They work in the same building, but you really don't know anything about them, but you always see them in the hallway or you always see them at the coffee bar. Advocates. These are people who will actually champion your job campaign on your behalf and strive to improve how others perceive you. They'll reach out to people. Oh, do you know this person? Let me tell you all about them. Oh yeah, I've seen her in the hallways. I noticed that she posts things online. I've seen her at a couple meetings, but she seems quiet. Oh no, she's not like that. She's full of information. She's a deep thinker. So they'll say things like that to lift you up in someone else's view. Let's talk about allies. They're usually found in social and professional groups. They share a close bond with you. You'll do meetups, dinners with them, and they'll actually go to bat for you. If they know about jobs and things like that, they will stand up for you. They don't have to be in the same department. They don't have to be doing the same type of work, but they just like you and they just want to build you up. So these three different levels can take in person on social media, but just know that a large number of social media connections does not equate to a strong network. Belonging to a large or well-known community group does not mean you have strong connections. You have to build relationships with people. You have to interact with them. So let's talk about sponsors. I'm a big fan of sponsors because they can put you in the inner circle. A sponsor will go to bat on your behalf. They may already work at the target company. So if you're wanting a sponsor and you're setting up a meeting with them, be very poignant in the conversation. Articulate where you would like to go in your career, the skills that you have, and the skills that you are building, and the track record of execution that you have that you're bringing to the table. Talk to them about your successes. You want to delight them in the conversation. You want them to feel like, oh wow, you do this kind of work. Okay, we might use someone like you at our company, and I'm going to keep my ears open, my eyes and ears open, so that when positions become available, I can mention your name. There's a quick impact to this. When you're having conversations with a sponsor, you want to move beyond being transactional, right? They don't interpret the absence of a target role as a lack of preparedness. There may not even be a job in the portal, right? But they're thinking about what's coming down the pipe because they have a strategy in mind. They'll let you know about a bench of opportunities, and this is the hidden job market. And they'll make warm introductions to people that are relevant on your behalf. And they can even write a job description for you. I've gotten a few jobs, there was no job description. Someone introduced me to someone else. They said we could really use someone like you on our team. And they filled out a job. They created a job description based on my resume. So, and then the question is, why would someone sponsor you? Why would these people try to help me? There are two point of views. Number one, a mutual benefit. Furthering your career helps them further their career. They'd love to have someone like you on their team because you support the work, right? The other one is altruism. They want to help good people advance. Some people know, they realize how hard the job market is and how tough it was for them when they were coming through, and they just want to pay it forward. So what does this look like? Here's your sponsor sitting at the table, and she's at a table with the buyers, people who have the power to make a difference. And someone's saying, listen, I need 4 new hires, more leaders to manage the new division that's been created. We have the money for them. We have a budget and it's been approved for Q4. That sponsor is saying, okay, so glad you finally have the head count. I have just the right person in mind because she's been holding on to resumes. She's been having conversations. Let's set this person up for the interview process. They have a line of sight on the jobs and what's being created at their company and perhaps some other companies. So they're key to the hidden job market. So you might say, if this hidden job is so fantastic, why wasn't it posted? For critical roles, companies don't want their competitors to know that they don't have someone for a specific job. Also, a company may not want to spend money advertising. If you post a job on LinkedIn, it's very expensive. This company might also be too busy to launch a formal search. Also, the hiring manager or someone on the team knows someone that will be a good fit, so they don't want to post it. And then also there might be someone still doing that job and they don't want to give them the heads up that they might be eliminated. So how do you help a sponsor and how do you help people plug you into the hidden job market? Make sure your network knows you're looking and what you're looking for. Use social media to find out who is coming and going and might be building a team. And then you want to look for pain points that you can solve and start speaking towards them so that you are always highlighting your value. There's no question about the value that you will bring to a team. I would even say frame yourself as thought leadership. That way you're highlighting your value in different conversations. So let's jump into fractional work. So fractional work can help you replace your corporate income in a few days per week. So The job you do in corporate on a daily basis is a job you can continue to do for other clients on a part-time basis. Key point. They could be part-time leadership roles, fully integrated part of the team with no end date. There's no difference between a full-time chief, whatever officer and the fractional counterpart, except that when you're fractional, you're not full-time, you're just there part of the time, and therefore you have other work that you're doing, whether it's fractional or consulting. And it's important to say that fractional work is not part-time, as in 35 hours a week. It can be 10 or 20 hours a week. So let's look at the numbers. $6,000 to $11,000 per month. That will be 1 day per week per client, usually no more than 10 hours. It's usually a startup, and you can do multiple clients per month. It's startups, mid-sized, nonprofits, different types of companies. So some people say, oh, I've heard about that and it doesn't work. So let's dig into the numbers. What are the examples? So if you're charging 6K to 11K per month, depending on your skill set, client number one, $8,500 per month times 12 months is $102,000 annually. Client number two is $7,500 per month times 12 months is $90,000 annually. And so your total amount will come to $192,000, right? And the average for a fractional worker is 10 hours per week per client. So 20 hours total per week, 2.5 days. So you would construct your own contracts and deals with the particular client, and don't forget your taxes and your other items. So fractional work, you can construct your own contracts with the ideal clients that you want. So you're working out the contract and the deal with the client. Don't forget your taxes. You may need a base retainer, then go hourly once it's reached. And then consider contracts that have a use it or lose it. Say we work up to X hours per week with a minimum billing requirement. That way they can't just call you and say, oh, we don't need you this week and you're losing money. There has to be a minimum billing requirement. And then you can work with really great organizations and industries to diversify your background and increase your value. You can work in finance, you can work in education, you can work in tech, whatever the case may be. And people are more likely to hire you on a fractional basis because you're not a full-time employee and you're not absorbing a lot of their budget. So fractional work is not consulting work. Consulting work is project-based, even if a long-term project, not fully integrated, and usually has an end date, even if tentative, since it's not meant to be forever, right? That's consulting work. Interim work is full-time, but temporary leadership role, fully integrated with the team, and has an end date. That end date is implied unless there's an option for the interim to become a long-term team member. People will always think, well, fractional work, it must be like a consultancy, it must be an interim. It's not that. It is what I stated on the previous slide. You determine the hours that you want to work. You determine the bucket of money that goes along with the hours. You construct the deal with the client that you're working with, and you determine the duties and responsibilities that you'll have in the role. It's not a full-time job. So let's talk about do-it-yourself reverse recruiting. We've all had recruiters call us for a position and it may not be a right fit. And if you're really looking for a role, there's a period of frustration after you get off the call with the recruiter. Oh, he didn't have anything for me. But here's what you can do. That recruiter is talking to you about a role that's not a good fit. Say, well, you understand my skill set. I'm wondering if any of your recruiter friends, if you know anyone who is trying to fill a job that aligns with my skill set. And they're like, wow, okay. So the point is, you've opened up the opportunity for access. You're learning about other recruiters and you're reaching more people. This gives you an opportunity to have more interviews. You also get to find out the inside track and a point of view from having different conversations. And I always say take all recruiter calls because I like to play chess, not checkers. I like to look at the long term instead of short-term gains. Let's talk about venture capital and startups. So some venture capital organizations include Black Venture Capital, A16Z. A16Z is very popular. There's Y Combinator, Excel, Sequoia Capital, Bessemer Venture Partners, and then startups. So startups have full-time jobs with a potential IPO when they exit, right? There you can get a role as an entrepreneur in residence. This can be a fractional or full-time job. There are also international markets, and you can pitch your contract services. I was talking to a company once, and they were interviewing me for a job. I didn't like the job. I wasn't a good fit because there were a lot of gaps in their processes. After I got off the call, I wrote a thank you letter and I started thinking I could be a consultant for them. I created a pitch and emailed them that pitch on how I could close some of those gaps and how the work that I am proposing can be a success factor for them. So thinking on your feet, thinking how you can solve problems for people, and thinking about how you can turn that into a proposal to continue the conversation. So mindset and energy. And we have a lovely lady here that's, has her eyes closed. She's concentrating, she's taking a break. And that's what we need to do a lot of times because work can be very stressful. We need to go inside, manage our energy, and be still so that we can take a reset. So when you're interviewing, you have to focus on what you can control, not you can't get upset all the time when an interview doesn't go your way or if a recruiter ghosts you. So the things that you can control are your mindset, your energy, being on time, being prepared, being neat and dressed appropriately for the interview. The things you can't control that you need to let go, ghosting, people not responding to emails, people being mean, people not wanting to help. You can't control the isms, racism, sexism, ageism. You can't do it. And sometimes you have to have a little prayer in your back pocket, like the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference so I can walk away. While you're in this hot seat of going through interviews, ask yourself, what kind of energy are you giving off? Are you coming in desperate and anxious? If so, they can feel that. Do you sound confident when you're talking about your skill set? When they say, tell me a little bit about yourself, are you rambling? Are you someone that someone else would want to do a warm introduction for? And all of this falls under the umbrella of managing your energy and your mental health. I would even say it's good to have a bottle of water with you when you're about to interview, have your resume in front of you. If you've gone through the behavioral health questions, have those listed out, have various scenarios that you can add in as part of storytelling. Be comfortable, be confident, take a couple deep breaths, tell yourself, I got this, and get ready to go. You can only do your best. So let me tell you about Inspire to Evolve Group Advisory Services. I offer full career and lifestyle audits to align you with ways to increase your abundance and wealth, whether that be through a job or entrepreneurship. I'm here for you to cover the gaps that you may not have even thought about. Feel free to contact me for an initial consultation, serious inquiries only. So this is my digital business card, and this is a QR code. You can go ahead and capture that and feel free to set an appointment with me. I'd love to hear from you. Initial consultations are free. So what does that look like? I offer holistic executive coaching services. They're purpose driven. It's a program to support your unique personal and professional development. I offer a 12-week executive coaching program. It's 24 sessions. I love to plug into your abundance, joy, and expansion. And how do I do that? During the 12 weeks, we meet twice a week. The first meeting is where I introduce concepts. The second meeting is where we talk about how to develop those concepts so that you can use them as a tool for yourself and your personal growth and development. So there'll be 2 private meetings, one-on-one, personalized for you and your goals and your needs. There's a co-working session, accountability sessions, focused learnings that are particular for you, the homework and deliverables where we're building out tangible items. There's a workbook and templates. There's also the presentations are geared towards you. And then I offer recordings and replays. A lot of the clients say that they love the replays because they listen to it. It sounds like a personal podcast with me just talking to them. Now, throughout the process, we review your resume, your technical skills. We get into it about your industry alignment, where you should be working. There's value mapping. We talk about your journey of your career, executive presence, communication skills, networking, business transformation, how you're moving the business forward at the place where you're employed. We talk about strategic planning, innovation, branding, and marketing. We incorporate mindfulness as your foundation, the law of attraction, gratitude and vibing very high, visioning exercises, because I believe that we're walking to our future greatness. We're great now, but we're definitely moving towards more future greatness. We're being intentional about it. So focusing on intentionality. We're also acknowledging that a personal transformation is taking place. We dive into storytelling. How do we communicate our stories? We set boundaries. We give ourselves permission to grow, develop, and unfold and prosper. And we always adopt the growth mindset so that we can continue to elevate. So I love the work that I do, and I like to think of it as together, let's navigate your future. So other topics can include leadership development, work-life balance, workplace microaggressions, micromanagement, how to approach the one-on-one meetings, workplace politics, also the 360-degree review prep. If you've never done that, what's the expectation around that? Conversations around getting promoted, salary negotiations, your workplace psychological abuse, interview prep, and starting a business if that's what you want to do. Now, when you call and ask about the offerings, I talk to you about the pricing, what you're going to be receiving, the benefits, the goals, the outcomes. And if you pay in full, I do offer bonuses, and this will put you into the inner circle. You'll receive priority scheduling. If you've worked all day and you want to meet in the evening versus a previous time that you've picked, we can lean into priority scheduling. So you'll have early access to book one-on-one coaching services during premium time slots that fit your needs. You'll get first dibs at the calendar. There'll also be direct access where you can contact me via direct messages. There's extended access, so 2 months of additional coaching where I touch base with you after the program to make sure you're doing well. There's also an exclusive bonus module, leveraging emotional intelligence for career success. I offer a personalized career assessment, which is a very detailed report analyzing your strengths, opportunities, as well as tailored recommendations to fast track your goals. There's a resource bundle, which is a curated list of books and podcasts for mindfulness, achievement, and abundance. And then I offer a beautiful one-to-one manifestation for abundance that helps you supercharge your goals with a private session. It's all love and about getting you to that next level. It's love, it's support, it's building your confidence, it's looking at your technical skills, it's allowing you to believe in yourself. It's giving you permission to build yourself up. It's giving you permission to acknowledge what you want out of life and put you on a track to getting there. I also offer hot seat coaching, which is an exciting program. It's one-on-one laser focused coaching sessions crafted to elevate your career with immediate actionable solutions. And I offer this in 15-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute increments. It's really a quick launch. Sometimes people have questions and they're like, okay, I just want to try the program and they want to do a small session. And I'm happy to help them jumpstart their career through hot seat coaching. This is the end of the presentation. My name is Dr. Camille White. I can be reached at Camille at inspiredtoevolve.com. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn, and my website is inspiredtoevolve.com. If you need services or just have a comment about the presentation, you can comment, you can add to the comment section, or just, reach out to me in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. Schedule an initial consultation. I'd love to hear from you and really dig deep into what your goals and your desires are. Thank you so much.